Relationships, believe it or not, have a huge influence on your health, both emotional and physical. And maybe you or someone you know fits the profile to a T. You're pretty. You have a great career. You're charming, wonderful demeanor, good style, but you just can't land the one, no matter what you try. Well, our next guest, Lindy, says that she's having some issues, so we sent her on a relationship intervention.
This is my space.
Wow, it's amazing. So you design all these?
I do. It's all
Beautiful.
done in here.
So tell me why you're single.
Back in the day, I wanted to be single.
And why did you want to be single?
I wanted to focus on my education. I wanted to travel. I wanted to start a career. So that's where my focus was. And to add to that, I've actually never been in love, so.
You've never been in love?
No.
Here's the thing about love, is that it's impossible to fall in love without being vulnerable.
I believe that, yeah.
Do you always need to be perfect?
I like to call myself a recovered perfectionist.
So falling in love with the wrong person would not be perfect?
No,
that would be terrible for you? So is that part of what it is? Is that,
yes.
do you feel like nobody's perfect enough?
I've come to recently begin asking myself that, yeah.
So I think what's happening with you, you want the relationship to be perfect so that you don't get hurt. What I teach women is how to market yourself. I would love to do a little online profile review of what you've created for yourself and then relaunch you and see what happens. Part of the problem is your user photo. It's kind of from far away. You can't really see your face. You've got a hat that's covering you. You're kind of making a little sour face. Okay, now this looks like you're startled and somebody just hit your dog with a car. You are a skinny person, but this is not making your body look as svelte. This is quite beautiful.
Okay.
Quite beautiful, and you're smiling. It's the first time you're smiling. We're going to completely change this. So we're going to rewrite your profile, and we're also going to take new online photos. We're going to create a vision of love through your photos and your written words that men will actually respond to, and then we're going to set you up on a date.
Oh gosh, okay.
We'll meet Lindy and Laurne when we return.
Coming up, a doctor-prescribed dating intervention for a woman who has never been in love.
So tell me why you're single.
Back in the day, I wanted to focus on my education. I wanted to start a career. And to add to that, I've actually never been in love, so.
You've never been in love?
No.
So we're going to rewrite your profile, and we're also going to take new online photos, and then we're going to set you up on a date.
Oh gosh, okay.
Lindy spends her days designing wedding dresses for brides-to-be, but just can't seem to find her own Prince Charming. So we hooked her up with relationship expert Laurne Francis to see what it takes to become a true man magnet. All right, so first of all, Laurne, I have to ask you, what is the biggest dating flaw you're sensing from Lindy here?
Lindsay is a defensive dater. She's also very critical of men because she's a perfectionist and she doesn't want to get hurt. So sometimes when you're a child of divorce or if you're suddenly single, you've had a bad relationship, you can kind of close down and then set the bar too high for everybody. So,
And did this, when you heard this, did it
Resonate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a smile from you, almost in agreement, I would think.
Yes. Yes, it was so true. I mean, being told this from an outside perspective and an expert, everything she said, I was like, yeah, that's so right. That's so true.
So your longest relationship was how long?
Maybe a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay.
so she made another big mistake, which is that she didn't vet men for the same kind of romantic relationship that she wants. Right? So she dated someone for a year, but they were of a different faith. So when it came to talking about children, it was a no-go. And this is something you can find out on date number 1.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing I want to highlight, because you did help Lindy out with some new profile pics, and I want to share the before and afters here before we...
Oh, night and day.
Wow.
Shazam!
Well, and I have to say, Lauren's intervention, the initial one worked because it turns out Lindy scored a date after that first intervention.
Wow.
And we were very, very lucky. Our cameras went along for the ride.
Do you have any particular dietary preferences?
Yes, but I'm a vegetarian.
I was vegetarian for 9 years.
Oh, wow. I'm normally asking a million questions. What's in this? What's in that? Is this vegetarian. You know, a lot of the soups they use chicken stock. So yeah.
My brother used to tease me when I was vegetarian. He said, "Oh, there's just the twigs in there. It'll be fine."
Yeah, I get that all the time. My sister's like, "Oh, just give her a stick. She'll be fine."
I'd like to get a glass of wine. Is there any way I can try a taste of the bread and butter Chardonnay and a taste of the Whitehaven? So we can bring the taste out. You want to try anything?
No, I'm okay.
Do you drink wine or cocktails? Or
I do, yeah. I think might be a little early for me.
I see.
Don't be bashful. I don't know how those work.
Thank you.
I don't eat seafood.
Thank you for giving me permission.
You have your brother.
I have 3 brothers.
You have 3 brothers.
3 older brothers.
I have 3 sisters.
Do you really?
That is funny. Complete opposite. Are you close with your brothers?
Yeah, I am. They're really great. They're all married. My brother Michael, he's got 5 children.
Oh, wow. Do you want children?
I definitely want to have children because I know when I'm older, it's going to make a big difference in my life.
So you want them only just for when you're older?
You know, no, I think it's a good question because, I mean, I'm still, like, in the heart of my career.
Yeah.
How about you?
What?
Children.
I definitely do. I don't have a number. I don't have a time frame. I mean, you know, I'm not getting any younger, so. But yeah, I do. I would like to.
I tend to watch a lot of TV shows.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't have TV service. I haven't had TV service in years. I mean, we all pick our little areas where we put our free time, and I just
Dancing's my preference today. Like, if I could do anything, like salsa dancing.
We have way too much in common. I mean, I salsa dance.
Do you really?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. I mean, like my Spanish, it's all rusty. No.
Come on.
Absolutely not.
Come on, no. Let's just do a few steps.
Oh,
Yes.
dear.
So, wow. I'm going to ask you what the top mistakes are.
Yes.
But even the first observation I made was when you went in for the very first intro hug, it looked like you were pulling away. That was my observation as a man. But what are the big things she was doing
The big
wrong?
things, you know, you want to smile. You know, men like women that are happy. Can we blame them? So she seems like she's not really available. She's a defensive dater, right? She's like a
Double
little
D.
wall.
Definitely.
So it's her body language, and then she criticized him 3 times,
Everything.
right? He was judgmental.
Yes.
She didn't like the fact that he was drinking a glass of wine.
It was too early.
It was too early.
The seafood.
And the TV.
Yes. I don't watch TV.
I don't watch
How do I answer that question?
Because oh my God, that's fascinating. What kind of
see?
seafood is that?
I need help. I need help.
Have you ever gone fishing?
Yeah.
Right? So instead, and I call it the secret male lemon law disclaimer. You want to hear for problems that are going to prevent you from connecting with this person. So instead of saying, no, I don't want a glass of wine, you can say, how many do you like to have at lunch? And then you can order a Perrier. And if he orders 3, he's not the guy.
Right.
Look, Franklin's here. We're going to bring him out. But I have a... But before we do, no, I wanted to bring this up before he comes out here because instantly I saw your demeanor change. You're sitting here at our desk, and Laurne, I want you to chime in.
Sure.
Incredibly charming and sweet and vulnerable. And all I keep thinking is if this person were on that date, how different the experience probably would have been because you're clearly a warm person. And without the pressure of being on a date, why is it that someone like Lindy, I mean, you were a different person on the date. It felt so just uncomfortable.
Oh, God.
She's shy.
I didn't feel like I was when I was there, but looking, oh dear, I think we should all have our dates.
Yeah, you
filmed.
learn
So
a lot.
She has a little romantic stage fright. So I always say, you know, to toss men a crumb, which is something you actually did not do.
I know.
Which is to compliment something the man is wearing or doing, like, nice tie.
Thank you.
There we go.
We'll find out what Lindy's date has to say when we return.
Coming up, Lindy's back from her big date with Mr. Right. Or is it Mr. Wrong?
We're back with Lindy, who admits she's having trouble finding Mr. Right. We're also joined by relationship expert Laurne Francis, who has done some dating interventions with Lindy. Lindy's date, Franklin, is here, so come on out, Franklin. I don't know if you were watching Lindy out here just talking about the date and the authenticity there. I'm curious on that date. What did you like, Franklin, versus maybe what were some red flags for you?
Sure. So I liked, the ability to have a conversation, the ability to tell me about her life, really smart, really ambitious. That really comes across, an attractive woman. The things where it was like now I see like there's like a playfulness, a willingness, like a give and take, which is really wonderful, like a lot of freedom that you're giving yourself to just sort of go in the moment and see what happens. So like on the date, it was sort of a little rigid, a little inflexible. You know, with the dancing thing, we did dance, but I insisted
took a
few.
lot of
I kind of had to, you know.
Yeah.
And I was so glad you did.
And you
I don't
said
know
that was
why-
great
I know.
afterwards. Yeah. So so that was it. I just felt like there was a freedom missing, freedom to make mistakes, freedom to
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and have
to
fun.
enjoy the date.
Well, Franklin, if that had been your only interaction with her, that first date, sitting there going through all that, would you have asked her out again?
Probably not.
Having said that, though, I'm going to throw it out there. Now that you've reconnected, any chance for a second date where you could...
Maybe dancing.
Yeah, there you go.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, one thing I learned so much from Laurne. I don't even know where I would start, but one thing she mentioned earlier was, ask the hard questions up front. And there are those deal breakers, if you want to call it that.
I call it the heartache prevention question. So if you want to get married and have children, or if you're of a certain faith and that's important, you ask that right away, right?
Yep.
So you don't waste the
date?
person. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't waste your own time.
Yeah.
And she did it. She said, "Do you want to have children?"
And that was one, but the other is faith. And so I didn't cover that in our
And that was one of the things that was missing for me. Usually, if I'm out on a date, women ask a lot of questions usually, and so I just, I offered things up that I thought would be.
It just seems like
important.
men can just come in and, pick and choose, and she didn't say this, and she didn't say that. I mean,
Are you saying
look
it's
at
too
this.
one-sided?
It is a little one-sided. It's starting to feel like men feel like they have all the power, can come in and just pick whoever they want, and whatever
I
they
get
do
so-
is great. I mean, because... At the end of the day, she's a beautiful woman. She's got a great career. She likes to have fun. So you would be a catch to anybody who stuck around long enough to even
But Dr. Rachel, let's rewind. You can say all that all you want, but we are men.
Yeah.
And you can say all that, and she's not, it hasn't been working for her. So to just say that to her is unfair. I would say, let me as a man just say something. I have to. You're different now that Franklin's standing next to you than you were before he...
Really?
Yes. And what it gets back to is men, in many ways, are just like women. We want to feel connected.
Right.
And if you don't allow us to feel connected, I think that's all Franklin's saying. He wanted to feel some connection with you. And so, Laurne, how can someone let down their guard enough to allow that connection to occur? Not the whole, you don't need to figure out everything, but how can someone like Lindy, because I would love to see the two of you go on another date, but how can they break down that barrier enough to at least give the other person a glimpse of who they really are so that it leads to a second date?
The first thing that you need to do is be interested in the other person. Right? So instead of being passive or being like a black hole where you had to do a lot, you had carried a lot of the conversation, you want to ask questions, you want to compliment something they're wearing or doing. Ask them what the thing is about their life that's the most passionate to them. You can say, what is your mission? What is the thing that you care the most about? And then the man starts talking about the thing he cares the most about, and then you ask questions about it.
So I have to ask the two of you, first with you, Lindy, would you go on a second date with Franklin?
I have to ask my love coach because the faith difference, is it
Here's
worth?
the thing.
Is it worth it? I enjoy Franklin so much. I even told her that.
Okay, so
And
now,
I would like,
with that big pause, he's not going out with
I
you.
know.
No.
Well, I'm supposed to be learning from my love coach, right?
So I actually think, because Lindy really wants to get married and have children, and her faith is important to her,
Sure.
and I support that you go out on a 10-date challenge. Because your profile before was not man-friendly, and she had like no one messaging her, we relaunched her, and her inbox has lit up like a Christmas tree. I want her to go out on 10 dates.
With 10 different guys.
With 10 different guys, and she
Is that
will
therapeutic?
Find... It can be.
Because at the end of the day, I said this earlier, and it's so very true. Do not for one moment think that finding someone you care about, relationships, is huge when it comes to longevity, how well you live, how long you live. It is such an integral part to, again, not just our emotional health, but our physical health. We've talked about this on the show. People who are in a loving relationship, lower rates of heart disease, all those things. So do not deny the importance of relationships, but with you, Lindy and Franklin, we wish the two of you the best of success in finding love. And Laurne, these are such great tips.
Great.
So we're going to follow along, Lindy, on this journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Franklin.
More ahead.